Welcome to the interview. I'm Dan Hollander, and today we're talking with Lawrenceburg Police Chief Terry Beecham. Good to have you with us again, Terry.
Good to be here. Thank you, sir.
You always give us a lot of information about what's going on that a lot of folks don't know. So let's start with that, and I guess one major thing is drugs.
Well, that seems to have captured everybody's attention. I know since President Trump has declared us with an opioid disaster, I guess you'd say, we do have an opioid problem. It is nationwide. We probably don't feel or see the effects of, well, I can't say that. Yeah, we've got an opioid problem.
Okay.
We've got it here.
Okay. What causes this?
Dan, if we had the answer to that, we'd all be millionaires. That can be the million-dollar question. I mean, it can start with something as simple as taking that first drink, smoking that first joint, where you've got gateway drugs that just lead you into harder drugs, the availability, the ease in which they can be obtained. I know Barry Doss has worked very diligently on the state level, trying to get programs implemented and in place to help at least with the addiction, getting that portion of it fixed, if you will.
Yeah. And once you start on this, drugs, it's difficult to get off, right?
Very difficult. Very difficult. Lawrence County Drug Coalition that's been started here, looking at faith-based schools or rehabilitation programs. When you start talking about somebody that's so ingrained into that culture where their very lives and understanding the addiction process, you're not going to get off a drug in a week. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. You can talk years, literally, at least a year to 2 years. Implementing a drug court or a rehabilitation court, those wheels are grinding. Our county mayor, T.R. Williams, has got a program in place, and like I say, working through the Drug Coalition. There's a lot of things afoot. Barry's got us again a grant here to implement some real fine programs that you can almost see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Can citizens help with this? And how do they do that? A lot of people probably wouldn't want to get involved. They'd like to get involved, but they're afraid to get involved.
And that's our problem. Nobody wants to get involved. And it's going to take the community getting behind this problem. Again, if it doesn't look right, if you suspect something that's just out of place, you got people walking through the neighborhoods you've never seen before, let us know. It's just, again, I alluded to it in our first interview over a year ago. A police department, a sheriff's department, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the FBI can only be as good as the people that support it, and we've got to have community involvement. And without it, it's an uphill battle to begin with, and it becomes mountainous.
This gets to be a matter of training, and training's changed, I guess, for this, isn't it?
We have taken our training program where we were using Columbia State to do our in-service training. Early on, I solicited the help of Captain Don Loss, who's now over our training section. We've brought our in-service training back home. We are utilizing training, and the majority of it is free, going down to Mississippi and taking every training course we can think of, from defense tactics to drug recognition to drug interdiction, through our traffic stops. It becomes a matter of training. What are we looking for?
Yeah.
And the dangers that we face, and in particular in fentanyl.
Yeah.
It is so deadly.
Can you see a difference? Is it beginning to show some?
That's hard to say.
It's a tough answer. I know.
It is a tough answer. I would like to sit here and say, yeah, I can see a marked or a big difference. Yeah. I can't honestly sit here and tell you that.
But you got to do something.
Yes, I mean, we're out there. We're in that fight every day, and it's a 24/7 fight. So, seeing an increase through the courts, just maybe in simple possession cases, our patrol officers, both the city and the county, We're highly aware of it, and it's a problem that we know that we've got to face, and we know we've got to fight.
And you're not the only ones.
No, sir.
I guess every city.
Oh yes, it's everywhere, and that's one thing I like about bringing our training back home to Lawrenceburg. We can reach out to smaller police departments, or departments that are our size, and I'm not taking anything away from Columbia State and what they had. It was a great program. It kind of served its purpose at that time. We're getting into our court district here. We're looking at Wayne County, Waynesboro, Giles County, Pulaski, Lawrenceburg. We've been reached out as far as Marshall County, but it's still, we're getting to meet with our district attorney general on a one-on-one. We're bringing in trainers from other cities, such as Loretta. They're helping us with our defense tactics portion of it. So it's just the relationships and the bonds that we can build with it. TWRA, Homeland Security, and I could sit here and go on and on and on from the agencies that we're reaching out to each other, and have formed that working relationship where if I've got a problem here, I can pick up a phone and call the chief over in Pulaski or the chief in Hornwall and say, look, are you experiencing this? And it's important to us, especially from management down, or the patrol level. They know these guys. They can put a voice with that, or a face with that voice, and it makes it a whole lot easier to reach out and communicate. This is what we're facing. Are you looking at the same problems? It's like yesterday, had a couple of our investigators go up to Columbia, which was very informative. We talked a little bit about this morning about gang activity, how it's impacting and affecting Columbia, the city of Columbia and Murray County, and what we can look for down here. So with that exchange of information, and that's a part of the training phase, just reaching out.
Okay. When youngsters go back to school,
yes, sir. Does
that present any kind of problem?
Yeah. With E.O. Kaufman introducing 600 more students to their school, that brings on at least 300 parents who are going to be driving. In the morning times, it takes a couple of days just to get them used to the fact that you got school buses stopping in front of E.O. Kaufman's. Well, every school. Well, I'm going to use E.O. Kaufman as an example because it was a change from last year. Probably 3 weeks into it, every parent over there was good with the way the process had changed. Now we've got 600 more students, which brings on those 300 more parents who are learning the process. James Earl Flatt and Jerry Frazier have pretty much taken E.O. Kaufman under their wing, working with the SRO over there and the school itself. But in the afternoon times, when you've got the back of the school, from the highway, from 43 down East Taylor, down the hill to where they're waiting to go up the hill to pick up the riders, is standing room only. Coming off of College Street, off of Pulaski Street, down to East Taylor is blocked. Coming around the school from Old Public Apartments, you've got parents waiting to get up the hill to pick up their children. You've got buses that's just let loose. They're hung up in traffic, which means they can't get to the high school, I think, and Crockett School. And I've been in close communication with Mike Hughes to try to see what we can do about maybe rerouting the buses.
This isn't simple at all.
No, it's not a simple process. And then you've got new public school where you've got parents trying to get into off of Prosser Road on the school property. And it's backing traffic up almost to Hood Hills going out of town, and from the curve to the school coming into town. And then you got Crockett School where we got special needs buses having to wait in the middle of the road for those riders to get out. So
I'm smiling, but it's not funny.
And it's not, but it's, like I said, I've talked with Mike Hughes and we've looked at different routes, how we can handle traffic. And I don't want to say it is a school problem because of the amount of, they're hauling 4,000 kids on these buses. And that's not counting the parents that's picking the children up at these schools. It's just, where are we going to put everybody? And we've all, I feel like that with the school bus, working for the school bus garage, we've got officers in the schools discussing the problems, how we can alleviate them. It's not something we can't overcome. So it's going to take a while. Be patient, and well, we've got to keep these. In particular, across the road, if we had a fire, you can't get a fire truck. You need an ambulance. You can't get an ambulance. So. And there again, I was talking to Chief Moore about the other day on how we could get a fire truck in, and they can't get the big ladder truck. I don't think it's what he called it, but it's the big fire truck couldn't even come in off of Hayes Road up Alex Drive and make that turn into the school property. So, it's just more than worried about blocking traffic, or it's going to take me 20 minutes to get my kid out of school. Yeah. We look at it from the emergency response side of it.
Well, it's there, and you just have to have a little patience.
We're working through it.
Good.
We're working through it.
How about burglaries, auto burglaries in particular? Is that one of these?
It comes in waves, it seems. We've been very successful in breaking up at least 3 burglary rings that I can think of right off the top of my head. And it'll quieten down for a little while, and then it'll rear its ugly head again. The majority of the problem seems to be up from probably 9th Street over into Tobin Terrace up around the high school. But that's not to say we don't have it on Brink Street over on the west side of town. And it's people that are on foot, and they're just looking for the easy target. So again, I encourage you, don't leave your purses in your car. Don't leave money in the car. Secure your tools if it's in a work truck. Lock your car. Because they're just looking for something that they can easily open the door and they're in and gone.
Yeah. I imagine time has a lot to do with that. People in a hurry to do what they are going to do or want to do or need to do.
Are you like me? I get in the house and think, gosh, I should have locked the car. And then I get distracted and just simply forget to go back and secure my vehicle. Just take that extra time to hit the button.
Are there some particular types or models of cars or trucks people look for? It doesn't matter.
It's across the spectrum. It doesn't. We've had older vehicles to the latest models that have been burglarized. So there's no one style, no one make or model.
Let's shift for a minute to home burglaries. Still a problem, I guess.
We are having home and residential burglaries, and kind of going back to looking at the drug problem. I dare say that probably 95% of all crime is going to have its root cause with drugs. We've had one home burglary here within the last 5 months where a victim had a gun pointed to her head. Late at night, she was awakened. And all he was asking for was drugs. Didn't get what he wanted and left. So, I've got a victim out here on the street that's absolutely scared to death to even lay her head down at night anymore. So the psychological impact that those things have. So again, lock your doors in your home as well as your vehicles.
That's the biggie.
That's the biggie. Just securing up. If you don't have outside security lights, invest. Dusk to dawn or motion lights. Bad guys don't like light. They like the night.
Everybody needs to write that down.
Yes.
If you got lights on, less chance.
Less chance.
Good. Okay. Emergency vehicle right of way. Do you run into this every day?
Every day. Yes.
All day, every day.
And we just yielding the right of way. I know if we're in our cars and we got our earbuds in, or if we're paying more attention to our telephones, which is a no-no, than to what's going on in the world around us. You can have an emergency vehicle on your bumper, and if you're not paying attention and being alert to what's going on around you, you're not going to hear him, and he's going to be forced into a turn lane or passing you on the right just to get to that emergency call.
And it's amazing how these people can, if you're at the speed limit, how these people can fly by you.
Oh yes.
They can't wait.
They can't wait. They can't wait. So it's, there again, state law requires you to move immediately to the right and stop. And if you can't move to the right, just slow down where you can afford that emergency operator to maneuver around your vehicle. Worst case scenario is stopping dead still in the middle of the road in front of you. Because then, in most cases, he's got nowhere to go except up your tailpipe. Which is not good.
Not comfortable at all.
No, that's not good.
Let's talk a little bit about changes in law enforcement and crime in the future. What do you see law enforcement doing that haven't even been thought of hardly now? Nobody hears about it. And then, what kinds of crime in the future are we going to be faced with? Not an easy question. I mean, hard to look in the future.
When we look at it with that 2020 hindsight, I guess the Ferguson effect has had the biggest impact on law enforcement. Now we're talking about body cameras. We're talking about armoring up. When we start looking at the militarization of police, and that just scares the bejeebers out of people. Understanding what that officer faces out there every day, even in Lawrenceburg, we still have targets on our back. Look at what's going on in Nashville. You don't turn the TV on every morning that you don't see 1, 2, 3, or 4 shootings. And we're blessed that we live in a community that we're not faced with the racial tensions. We don't have the Charlottesville, South Carolina going on in Lawrenceburg where they're tearing down statues, or we got the right versus the left, the extremist on the right, the extremist on the left. I feel like the community as a whole, we've got good relationships. I get calls every day from people in the community. They may be praising me, or they may be chewing my hind end after something I should have done that I didn't do. Why don't I see a patrol car over here? And those are things that I welcome. We need to know if you've got a particular problem in an area. We're not God. We're not omnipresent. We've got 6 officers that work the shifts. We're talking a town that goes from Memorial Gardens to down past Rick's Barbecue. That's north and south, and then east and west, out to the Brass Lantern, and then all the way out past Crockett School. That's a lot of territory to cover. We got 10,000 people plus inside the city limits, so that's a lot of miles to cover. So there again, we depend on the community involvement to let us know what's going on in your particular area. Where we're headed in the future, again, that is kind of hard to say. We try to involve ourselves again with outside training, especially through the Homeland Security, where we just completed our alert training, which is the officers' response. It's a nationwide program that teaches officers how to respond to any given shooting situation where we'll all be on that same sheet of music. God forbid, let's say we had an active shooter at Lawrence County High School. Now, if we respond, the Sheriff's Department responds, the Highway Patrol responds, we've all got this core training that the right hand is going to know what the left hand is going to be doing. I know Chief Moore and I, Chief Jay Moore and I have been in real close communications with Joe Baxter and Shelton Barnett at looking at mobile command stations. Taking that training where we can go to a mobile command where we don't wind up where emergency response units getting there, and primarily the police just simply doing something like not clogging the street so we can get EMS inside. Of course, our training will eventually reach out where we're going to involve every emergency service in the county. I mean, mow glass down there at the ambulance service is a vital piece of that puzzle, and we've got to know what each of us is going to be doing.
That's hard to get all that put together, isn't
it's monumental. It's there's some, and I learned a lot by going. I went with Joe and Shelton over to a training class last year, it was last year. Looking at the Aurora, Colorado theater shooting, the Batman shooting. You don't really realize until you sit there and you watch and listen. And we had the captain that was in charge of that shift that night. Of course, this is something that the timing was good for them because it happened right at shift change. So they had 2 shifts there at the police department. It was less than, I won't say it was 3 miles from the police department itself. And what they learned from that is they became their own worst enemy by the responding units clogging up entrances so they couldn't get fire and they couldn't get medical to that theater to care for the injured. So it's just learning from other mistakes.
Okay. If people watching this are saying, I want to help them. I'm not a policeman, I've never done anything like that. But if they want to help, how can they help?
Let me brag a little bit on the people of Lawrenceburg. Since I've sat here, I've actually had to alter my shopping habits. I have to wait till late at night to go to Walmart if I want to get out in an hour. And I welcome the comments that everybody brings to me. I spent 3.5 hours in Walmart a couple of weeks ago just talking to people. And they're bragging on the guys. And I don't think it's really anything that I can bring to the table that I've brought to the table other than just letting them do their job. When Chief Moore retired, she left me in great shape. I cannot brag on this lady enough for what the groundwork that she laid in the 8 years that she sat in this chair, bringing us to the point we are. I really can't brag enough on the City Commission for allowing us the liberty to, if I got a problem, I can go sit down and talk with Doug Edwards at Human Resources. Chris Schaefer and I communicate on a daily basis, our city administrator. If the mayor has a problem, he knows that he can pick up that phone or his phone and call me and we can convey. It's just those channels of communication are open, and I've been given the leeway to just go do what needs to be done. Now Chris gets on me every once in a while because I get a little tight on the budget. Of course, we're always looking at budget constraints, and that's why we have enrolled in this in our 1033 program, or the Department of Defense picking up what surplus materials they've got. That's just another tool. That's just something else that we can put in our basket to draw from. So as far as the community, I welcome each and every comment. Again, the biggest thing they can do for us is just letting us know what's going on in their neighborhood. If they're behind that DUI driver, call dispatch and stay on the phone with them till we can get there. If they see somebody that's odd in that neighborhood, just that they don't fit, let us know. And we're getting that type of response. So the rapport that we've got with the community, and I think I can take that from our youngest officer to our most senior officer here, because they get a lot of intel or information from the general citizens that I may not. So you don't necessarily have to call me. Call one of the guys that you know. If you see them standing at Walmart, if you see them in Walgreens, stop them on the street, flag them down, and let them know what's going on. If you've got a concern, if it's your concern, it's our concern. That's what we are, public servants. We're here to serve the public.
Appreciate the interview.
Yes, sir.
Some good points here.
Thank you, sir.
And maybe that'll help you out a little.
I hope so.
Okay.
Been a pleasure.
Our guest today, Lawrenceburg Police Chief Terry Beecham. That's the interview, and we thank you for watching.